back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Merina. I do mobile home living in a trailer park in Tennessee, and I'm constantly updating my home. Most of the time, I'm updating things for the first time, and it's new kind of update, a new kind of makeover. But then there are other times where we have to revisit old makeovers and do things the right way, because we didn't really know what we're doing. Do we know what we're doing now? No. But we knew more than we knew then, so we're rolling with it. Today, we're revisiting the hallway, because as you can see here, there were some spaces in the floor that need to be redone because in mobile homes, the floor gets weak pretty often. The vinyl planks themselves needed to be redone because I didn't stack them throughout the hallway like I did the rest of the house. Kind of got a little lazy with it. It didn't flow very well. I didn't take my time while putting it down. If you take your time with this vinyl flooring, I'll show you guys all the things I use. I have this vinyl flooring throughout the main living area of my home. If you take your time putting this stuff down, it will last you. Don't think it's some extravagant flooring though. It's one of the cheapest on the markets, but if you're in a bind and you're wanting to make over your home on a budget, it's the perfect flooring for it. It's also easy to put down. I put it down throughout my entire main living area by myself. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Also, we did some wainscoting. I don't think this is much wainscoting. This is Wilbur-scotting or something. It's a hot mess. We didn't know how to do angle cuts. We still don't know how to do angle cuts, so we're doing the easy way out because it was on sale and we saved money doing it. So I'm not going to complain. I'll show you guys what we use for that here in a minute too. Mobile home walls have batten areas, so we need to touch up those too because we left some of those the way they were when we took the battens off, leaving a little bit of gap in the wall and making it just look messy in general. So we're going to go back, fill those in, sand it down, repaint it, do it the right way. Everything we messed up the last time, we're going to try to get it right this time. I've done a little bit more research this time. We have some experience under our belt, seeing as it's been about a year. It's been a hot minute since we've been messing around and doing stuff to our home and learning by experience. So we're going to go back in and fix all of our mistakes, as well as refreshing the area too. We're going to change some stuff up about it. Little things, but in total, keeping it the way that it was because I really enjoy this area of my home, despite all the imperfections. And when I really get an area in my home the way that I like it, I would like to keep it that way. I don't like to change it up too much. There are certain things in my home you will notice never change, and that's because those are things that I genuinely really love and they're timeless to me. I don't feel the need to go in and revamp them or refresh too much or anything like that. I don't feel the need to add to, take away from, because those are areas in my home I really genuinely love the way that I made them over the first time. This is kind of an area like that in my home. It's one of those timeless areas to me. I really enjoy it. I really love the look of it even all this time later, and I don't want to change it too much, but I do want to amp it up just a little bit. I found some stuff on clearance that I really like, so I'm going to try to incorporate that stuff that I found on clearance into here. If you're like me, you like a little bit of change in your home. I'm here all the time, 24/7, so I like a little bit of change, or it can start to feel kind of claustrophobic. This day and age, with this economy, we really need to be working smarter and harder, but you know what I mean, like smarter when it comes that I don't know where I was going with that, but smarter when it comes to finances. So let's try to do things on a budget. Let's stroll down the clearance aisle. Let's do all the things that help us save just a little bit of money, because right now a little bit of money is a lot of money to some people. Let's see if we can pull this off. Okay, so this area of the floor, as you can see, it needed to be redone, it needed to be replaced, but we also needed to come back as far as this little piece right here in the living area, because we wanted to continue that staggering effect. It's not going to be perfect, because if I were to keep going, I mean, honestly, you would just keep going all the way to the kitchen. So I had to stop it at some point, and I stopped it right behind the area where the floor needed replaced. So we're just going to kind of try to stagger it as well as we can all the way throughout the hallway. And it's kind of like that brick effect. You know how bricks right here, my faux brick, you have 2 bricks right here and 1 right here, 2 bricks right here, 1 right here. If you look at my floor here in the dining room, or the kitchen area, you've got a piece of flooring that stops right here, and then this one continues, and then this one stops right here. It's staggered. You can stagger your flooring a ton of different ways, but this is probably the easiest because it's just a 2-way pattern. If you're new at doing home improvements and new at doing flooring like me and don't want to mess it up completely, because I was convinced when I got this flooring that I was not going to be able to do it. Little bit of elbow grease, a whole lot of sweat, because your girl sweats like a man. We got it done. So if you're new to doing DIYs and stuff, the 2-step staggering with the flooring is probably your go-to. It's probably the best option for you. Notice here that there's some white underneath this. That's because I specifically made my flooring mobile for instances like this. Since I do live in a mobile home, I know there are going to be weak spots that appear on the floor. There's going to be some issues. I need to be ready to pull up the floor whenever I need to without it causing issues to the floor itself. So because I live in a mobile home, I chose to put my flooring on top of poster boards from the Dollar Tree. It's affordable, it also makes it mobile, and it doesn't damage your subfloor, your base flooring, or anything like that. Dollar Tree, 50 cents a poster board. It sticks really well to it, and in times like these, it's very easy to pull up. We literally rolled the flooring back, just like rolled it back. Because it wasn't attached to this floor, it was attached to the poster board. That would also be a good option if you're renting and you can't do home improvements like doing permanent floor, doing permanent paint, or anything like that. Contact paper and poster boards from the Dollar Tree will be your best friend. You can literally put this flooring on top of poster boards and it'll look like you did a whole new flooring, but you can pull it right up whenever your lease is up and you want to leave. That's a good option. Same as contact paper and wallpaper. If you get the good quality wallpaper, I've done tests on this before over in my laundry room. I've done tests on a bunch of contact paper up on my wall to see if it pulled off paint, and the majority of it didn't. So contact paper and some wallpapers are some really good ideas too if you rent, because I know a lot of you guys say that you wish that you could do home makeovers but you rent. In a case like that, you wouldn't want to spend a fortune because you would be moving in the future unless you plan to stay there forever. But you can still do little updates here and there that can make you feel more comfortable in your home, make you enjoy your space a lot more, stuff like that. But we use the poster board as just a barrier between these floors and the flooring because we know mobile homes have flooring issues. That's just reality for us. And all those other mobile home or livers, those trailer park dwellers, single wide sailors, whatever you want to call us. It's just the reality for us. Let's do the daggone thing.
Mobile home modulators.
Shane coming in hot at the end with something that don't make sense.
It doesn't.
Also, Shane picked out my outfit today, so don't make fun of me. My cheetah bikini, pajama pants, and my striped shirt. It wouldn't be a fearfully creative video if I wasn't doing something in my pajamas. Obviously, this isn't ideal. You don't want to waste money ever whenever you're doing home improvements. But it's inevitable if you're new to DIY. You can barely hammer a nail into a wall. I mean, seriously, a year and a half ago, some things it's going to be inevitable, especially whenever you get a little bit of experience. We don't know what we're doing. We still don't get that messed up. Don't get it twisted. We still don't know what we're doing. But quit! We still don't know what we're doing. But we do have a little bit of experience now since doing all this stuff. So it's inevitable. You're going to have to go back and redo things that you did when you first started. It's not ever fun to waste money, and like this, obviously this wainscoting, it costs money. But if we want it to look right and we see where we've made our mistakes, then it's worth the investment to go back and redo it. And this is why Fearfully Creative doesn't glue anything with glue. That big fancy never moving cement glue. This is exactly why I don't use that stuff.
Our Wilbur Scotton.
Oh, Wilbur. Wilbur's a butterfly. He's going to be turning into wainscoting real soon.
I want wainscoting. You already got wainscoting at home. Wainscoting at home.
The wainscoting at home. At least we have a layout of where to put the new wainscoting, which is more than what we had last time. Last time it took forever to measure between it, but now we kind of have like a layout. We know where the wainscot is supposed to go. So we're first starting off by sanding the areas where we removed the battens off the wall the first time. We did go in and do this a little bit the first time that we redid this area, but we didn't cover them all. We should have just went ahead and done them all, but we really didn't know the proper way to do them. So what we did here is we just sanded down the strips first, the areas where the strips were missing. Then we hammered down any nails. We sanded around the outside of the old wainscoting, around that grayish rectangle there, just to make sure that when we put down the spackle, the joint compound, whatever you want to call it, it wouldn't be too lumpy and it would be easy to sand back down. So we sanded first, then applied the spackle, and then sanded again. It was a hassle and it was time consuming, but it was worth it because it looks good now. Change of plans. We're going to put the joint compound on these strips that we just sanded down, let it be drying, and then run to Lowe's because we have found more weak spots that need to be fixed in the flooring. I was literally moving over to go towards the girls' room and I felt it and I was like, oh snap, look at this. That's how weak mobile home floors can get. We know that we have a big area in the bathroom, but it stretches out into the hallway. so it leads from the hallway into the bathroom, so that needs to be fixed too. So we need enough wood to cover 2 more weak spots, which is fine. We can be doing that while the joint compound's drying. I needed to run to Lowe's anyway to get a light fixture. I want to get a light fixture that goes with the rest of the light fixtures in my house. I'm changing out the light fixtures slowly as I go and not all at once because it's really expensive to change out light fixtures all at once. I need to look though for some ideas. I don't really check Pinterest. Honestly, listen, I have so much inspiration. I'm tweaking little areas in my home as of lately because I got inspirations from Shoney's.
It's true.
We were all in Shoney's eating one day and I was looking around and I was getting so inspired. So I've been slowly tweaking little areas of my home to kind of go with like the theme of Shoney's. If you don't know what Shoney's is, it's like a little chain sit-down restaurant. It used to be really good, but their menu's been cut down. Anyway, yeah, that's not here nor there. So Shane has put in this pink fast drying joint compound fixer stuff up. I'll show you guys the label here in a minute. But I like this stuff because we know when it's done, when it dries, and it dries to the color of joint compound. So like it's pink when it's wet and it's white when it's dry. I like that better than being surprised when I'm going in to sand something that's not dry. Usually you can't tell if it's dry or not, so you end up sanding wet stuff. I do it in my case. So I like the pink because it lets me know when it's dry and when it's safe to start sanding. We're gonna plop this on here and let it be drying and run to Lowe's for some things because there's a few more things I need to get. We also forgot to get a separator for the floor to separate the girls' carpet here. Here's the boys' separator that we got whenever we redid the boys' room. We forgot to get one for the girls' room. So I need to go to Lowe's to get that and a light fixture anyway, so it's not a problem.
It's all good in the neighborhood.
It's all good in the trailer hood. This is the specific stuff that we're using to cover up the batten areas and to like kind of joint compound it over. It's not joint compound, it's spackle, but it works kind of the same. I guess the spackling is kind of for like smaller areas, like little cracks. Joint compound, you'd probably have to go in for bigger jobs, but this stuff works wonders. It works really good for like seams in the walls and just little nail hole stuff like that. And like I said, it makes the job easier because you don't go in and end up sanding wet spackle. Can y'all tell I've done that? I'm spicy about that because I've done that 1,000 times. Lowe's and I have a very love-hate kind of relationship. I usually get sidetracked in here and I almost always end up over in this aisle first, the Magnolia Home aisle. I probably watched 2 shows of Chip and Joanna Gaines. I'm not kidding, but for some reason her packaging is like the price stickers at Ross. Just something about them make them like draw you in. Ross prices always do that to me. It could say $52 and just because it has a Ross price sticker, I'm like, that is a steal. So Joanna Gaines knows what she's doing when it comes to marketing, but I almost always end up there. I went to the lighting because I'm not lying. I was going to get one of these hanging basket lights. That's not what they're called, but they look like hanging baskets. I was going to get an upside hanging down basket, but decided on this one instead because I do like the industrial kind of look in my home and I want it to be like coexisting. I want them all to look the same. I was in love with this rug. Oh my goodness, if I had red in my home, I fell in love with this, but it wasn't on sale. However, I looked to my left and found this one and it was on sale. And other than the pattern, they were basically the same color scheme. And I really liked the other one on the right better, but then after I saw this price, I was like, no, we going with the one on the left. This is something that you guys might be interested in because you really like my rug that I used to have in my living room. I'm putting it back in there. I just got to pressure wash it, but the price was a little bit you could probably find one cheaper at Ross because you know I'm a stand for Ross. But then I actually ended up where I was supposed to be the whole time, which is the plywood aisle. I almost went for the bigger ones. I like the bigger ones, but it's really just a width thing because they're about the same height anyway. Yeah. I think we'll just keep the discounted ones because these are $15. We spent so long in Lowe's that by the time we got home, this was almost completely dry and ready to sand. We're back, and in total, how many holes? 4 weak spots in the floor we had to fix.
Pieces of plywood here for the floor.
Not OSB because 300 pounds of OSB don't go well together.
And then we got these 2x4s just in case if I have to create more support
underneath it.
Yeah.
When Shane pulled up this floor, I just knew we were going to have a surprise, but look at that. It looks like a crime scene. What is that? Last time we pulled up the flooring to fix it, we found like cans of raisins where somebody had just been chowing down on some raisins while they fixed the floor. He cut out the rotten OSB, went and measured it, got his measurements, and added the new plywood. It didn't take him very long. I was really impressed with his work. You did it! dang gravy.
And here is hole number 2.
In the holes like this one, he had to go in and add the 2x4s as support just so that they wouldn't fall in later, because there was nothing to screw them into, because he had to cut randomly out of a big piece of the OSB that was laying on the floor. So he had to go in and just screw in some 2x4s so that he could then attach the plywood to the 2x4s just to give it extra support. That's kind of the territory you get into when you have to like mix and match holes in the floor, because obviously we didn't just have the means to go and replace this entire floor. We had to just fix the bad spots, basically. It was a touch-up. It couldn't be like a redo. So whenever you're doing touch-ups, you have to randomly, you know, the holes are in random spots, so you got to cut randomly around some random areas, and a lot of times the areas you have to cut into, they don't have any support underneath for you to attach the new piece to.
So here is hole number 3. I've already started putting some 2x4s on the sides because I'm going to have some support.
Hole number 4. This has become way more than what we originally thought. But don't it always happen?
It's the last one though.
We're going to get down here. I look like I'm going
You
swimming.
got Tim the tool guy down here with her big old glass. Oh God!
After it completely dried and there was no bubblegum pink, no tint in it, no nothing, I went back down and sanded it down. And let me tell you, you can't even tell there was ever a batten here, a seam here, or nothing. So that's an easy fix. If you're one of those who like to take the battens out of the mobile homes, try it this way. It worked really good.
So it's so much better.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like peanut butter smooth. Yeah.
Hey, I like that brand, peanut butter smooth.
That's like your M&M peanuts.
Yeah, M&M peanuts.
I know that it's split down the middle. Some people don't like the battens in their mobile home and they want to take them down to make it look more like a house. Like a, you know, my home is a house, but you know what I mean? Like a house, a stone built house, block house, whatever you call it. And then the other people, they don't mind the battens. I'm one that I don't mind the battens. I actually much prefer the battens because I don't want to hide the fact that I live in a mobile home. I like showing people, hey, you can make your trailer look like this. Ain't nobody in this corner of YouTube ashamed of living in a trailer park or a trailer or a single wide, double wide, whatever you want to call it, mobile home, whatever, house with wheels, mobile mansion, whatever you want to call it. Nobody over here is ashamed of living in such a thing. So I keep my battens up if I'm not doing something like wainscoting. Get asked a lot about, well, hey y'all, I get asked a lot about what I would do if I ever wanted to change this brick right here. This is basically just this stuff right here. I would just sand it down and repaint it. If I didn't want to do it that way, I would just replace the sheetrock, the drywall.
I'm just going to take the sheetrock down and put new sheetrock up.
Is that how you would fix it?
That's how I would fix
It
it.
wouldn't be hard to sand it down. It wouldn't be hard. More affordable way would be to sand it down. I love this, so it's my favorite. A bunch of people are like, Merina, that's a pretty permanent solution. Do you want brick? It's basically just as permanent as like that brick paneling or whatever, just cheaper. I have no plans on ever changing the brick in my home. It's my favorite part of my home. I love it. It adds such a coziness to my house. I really enjoy the brick, and I enjoy the faux brick, the joint compound brick that I've done throughout my house. I'm as proud of it as I would be if it was actual brick or that brick paneling stuff. Like, I love this stuff, so I'm not ever planning on, you know, taking it down or anything, but it wouldn't be the end of the world if I decided to. There would be options. I would have options. I just don't want to take it down, but I'm not stuck with it. If I ever wanted to, I could always go in, sand it down. If I was on an extreme budget, sand it down, repaint it, sand it down, put wallpaper over it, or just replace it completely with drywall. No, player, I get it from and give me a unibrow. Yeah, boy. Call me the jackhammer. Dog, the bounty hunter. Anytime you sand anything, you're going to have a major mess on your hands. So I'm just going down and wiping down and dusting off all of the mess so that I can go in and start on the next step, which is adding the wainscoting and then painting. All right, much better than it was before. Smooth as a baby's bottom. This isn't elevated. That's just where the regular paint is underneath it, but it's completely smooth. So is this one. So is this one.
Y'all might recognize me from such videos as DIY fireplace and DIY pantry.
That's your opening statement everywhere you go.
That's my filmography. Anytime, like if I'm asked to do a speech or something, I'm gonna open up with that.
When are you ever asked to do
all the time. All the time. I had to turn down GQ's hottest man of 2022 with my little pink shorts.
Having the leftover paint really helped in this instance because we still had to level it, make sure it was level. We still had to measure and everything like that, get our measurements, but it made it seamless as far as the time management. We didn't spend near as much time putting this up as we did the first go around when we were measuring every single inch of this stuff. It's a little bit smaller than the other one, but I think it's gonna look okay.
We won't know till we paint.
We won't know till we paint, honestly. While it's smaller than the old wainscoting I had up, I will say it is a pretty good size for the size of my wainscoting. So if my chair rail went up higher, or chair rail as we say here in Tennessee, if my chair rail went up higher, then I wouldn't be able to pull this off because these are so little. But to find these on sale and for these to be as easy as they are to install, I definitely think that we upgraded. It is a light cardboardy PVC type of thing. It's not as good quality as the trim you would normally use for wainscoting, but I will say, given how easy it was to install and the price of it being on sale and stuff, I think it's a really good option, especially if you don't want to deal with like the corner cuts and stuff. I'm just using normal white interior paint, not base paint or anything, just Valspar white interior paint. I have come to love Valspar, but I will say it's basically just a little bit better than Color Place. I think it's all about texture. Color Place, you never know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates. You don't know if you're going to get it runny, if it's going to be colored water, tinted water. You have no idea. That's in my experience anyway. So Valspar is a little bit more consistent. You kind of know what you're going to get when you go to get it, to grab it. So I'm just using white and going in here with a couple of coats to freshen up everything. I'm making it a point to go over my chair rail with the paint, go over the trim, all of that, because it can come pre-made kind of dingy. So just to freshen it up with everything else, I'm doing a coat on it too. Since we were already in the hallway here, we were already redoing this room, and I knew we wouldn't revisit it for a while since we're doing it the correct way this time. I wanted to go ahead and have Shane give the entire hallway another coat of paint. I get asked a lot what color of paint this is throughout my hallway and through my main living area of my house. It is Stone Harbor Greige by Color Place, but Color Place didn't have it in stock this time. They had no like light base, and that's the kind of base you need in order to get the Stone Harbor Greige mixed in. So we had to go with a more expensive paint can, but it's basically the same thing. The color of it is Stone Harbor Greige, and you can get it, you can kind of get it in whatever brand that you want to. I normally get it in Color Place because regardless of the tinted water times, it's relatively cheap, and it's the cheapest option at Walmart, I believe. So like I always grab for the Color Place, even though I've had bad experiences with it. I've had good experiences with it too, so I just kind of go on a whim and I just hope, cross my fingers, hope for the best. But this time I ended up, I think that we went with, I can't remember what it is honestly, maybe Glidden or something like that, but it was like $10 more expensive per gallon than Color Place. So Color Place is always my go-to when I go to Walmart, and then I usually grab for Valspar or something whenever I go to Lowe's. This is a light fixture that I chose to go with. I got it from Lowe's. I went with this vibe because my wall lights there are similar to it. It matches my lamp over here, that vibe too, which this lamp is called an industrial lamp. Shane just cut the lights so that we could install it, but that is why I went with that, to go with these. Also, these lights, they're very different. All my lighting, I want it to be like the black industrial look, or at least black. Like in my dining room, the chandelier and stuff, I want it to at least be black. So I thought this flowed really good on this side of the house because there are a lot of industrial vibes going on in my main living area. Watching Shane fly through this light installation, this light fixture installation, is hilarious because I just remember the first time I had him change a light fixture for me, he got so frustrated, like he was ready to scream. And now to see it's just like second nature for him, it just comes full circle. It's so cute. This is the flooring I have throughout my entire house. It's the Traffic Master Peel and Stick, and it's in the color taupe oak. It's easy care, no wax, solid vinyl plank, low gloss, realistic texture, which that's kind of true, and easy self stick installation, which it is pretty easy. I usually shop at Lowe's for everything and never darken the doors at Home Depot, but this I do have to get at Home Depot. Like I said though, it's what's throughout the rest of my main living area. I really love the color of it. I really like the price of it too, compared to other stuff, so we're going with it. You can see here when you pull this little flap up, you can see the color of it. It's a very greige color, kind of like my walls. My walls are Stone Harbor Greige by Color Place. In some lights it looks gray, and some lights it looks beige, but I like it because it's super neutral and goes with basically everything. The Stone Harbor Grayish paint goes really good with this too, I think. You can see there, they don't clash against one another. They're the same kind of color base. I like that. One of them's not too blue based, and the other purple based, and the other one isn't too purple based, and the other one blue based. They complement each other really well. They do have different colors. Like I said, you can go to Home Depot and just pull this little flat back and see what the actual color of the flooring is. You do get 24 planks, and that's the size and how many square feet a box covers. The color is taupe oak. It also says, it's upside down, but it says lifetime residential warranty, whatever that means. I'm not fancy, despite my glasses making me look sophisticated right now because they're falling off my face. I'm not fancy enough to know what a residential warranty is, but it sounds fancy. It sounds like a good deal to me. On the back of the planks, you have this stuff right here that you just peel off. It tells you which way to peel it off of, and it leaves you with this stuff. You can add more adhesive. I've seen people do that, but I don't play around with adhesive. So we just use whatever's on the back of this, which is pretty sticky in itself. And it does good for us. It's also easy to pull up in case that you need to fix some areas in the floor, because this stuff is cheap. It's inevitable. You're going to have like scuffs and cracks and areas of it that pop off and break off when you're moving your furniture. I've had to replace quite a few of mine, so I almost always keep a box of this on hand just in case I need to pull from it. So I don't add more adhesive because it's obviously more adhesive means it's stickier, and it'll be harder for me to pull up if I need to fix mistakes or damaged pieces of vinyl, you know what I mean?
Can we walk away in the setting sun? When the race is done, I see no smile, no smile, nothing left to say. I guess nobody really won. When the race is done, I see no smile, no smile. Trying to shake all the memories, now the enemies, from a place that we both wanna leave. Now we don't really wanna feel. Did we hold on for too long? Could you tell me, babe, what went wrong? And now we're free, yeah, indeed. Can we walk away in the setting sun? When the race is done, I see no smile, no smile.
So I figured out the easiest way to cut these.
Okay.
So I put it up against it, right? And I take my triangle here. I'm gonna get it right there. Lay it down. Boom. This is door trim. We don't want this kind of door trim. So come with me on a journey. I believe.
Why you sound like Napoleon Dynamite trying to read a script?
This is door trim. We don't want this kind of door trim. So come with me on a journey to find the door trim we need. Repeat second line. So come with me on a journey.
Can we walk away in the setting sun? When the race is done, I see no smile, no smile, nothing left to say. I guess nobody really won. When the race is done, I see no smile, no smile.
So Shane just got the door trim done. I still have to paint around it. We gotta do a few extra things, but I just want to show you guys how big of a difference crown molding, trim, stuff like that makes in your home. Look how much better! It looks so stinking good. Like, that looks so good. Looks like a totally different area of the house. I need to paint that white. I left it that color because I thought I might want it to be that color. But then I went back and forth on doing on black. But I'm just going to leave those white. We do have to get a new one of those and a new one for the girls' room. We'll do that when we do the girls' makeover. But that looks so good. Let me try to get all three of them together. Yeah, look at that. Look at the trim. It looks so good. You did a good job.
Well, they do call me molding man. So.
Molding man.
Molding man. Hashtag molding man.
Another sort of small thing like the door trim that made the whole area pop was adding more baseboards. I originally just had baseboards on the right side going down, but we went on and added some over here too, and I'm glad we did. We finally fixed this edge trim right here that had been messed up for forever. Shane says keep it white. I was going to paint the Stone Harbor grays, so I don't really know what to do. I guess I'll leave it white. It kind of does pop with the trim. So I guess I'll leave it white for right now. What do you guys think? I'll give him that. It really does pop being white. So we may leave it white. This is the table I found at Ross. And it was on sale for $29.99. Got it on clearance. It's like this beigey, greeny, mossy color. I don't know. To me it looks green. But then in other lights it looks like a greeny beige. But then in other lights it looks beige. So it's a weird color. I almost didn't keep it this color. I still might not. Thought about painting it white. But then again, I kind of really want to see what this color looks like in my hallway to kind of diversify the colors I got going on in there. I got a lot of neutrals in there. So I think it will just like fit right in. Hopefully. We're going to see though. But I told you guys I'm really pushing for sale items and clearance items in this one. Our poster family pictures is something I wanted to keep because I love the contrast between those black posters and the white chair rail. I love the way that that looks completely. I did like the back wall plain. I liked just having that brick there, but I wanted to add a little something to it. So I did add this table and all this decor to that wall, but I don't know if it's something I want to keep. I got this on clearance at Ross too. Almost everything on this table was either clearance or I shopped for my home, like this stuff right here, stuff that I had in the back of my closet. I still need to get back there and get some beads, but it was either stuff that I shopped for my own home or stuff I got on sale or clearance. And I got this nifty little thing to take the clearance stickers off of everything. I found it at Lowe's. I saw one of my friends, Dorset Doorstep. She used something similar to it, and I was like, I need me one of those. And I passed it in Lowe's, and I said, I gotta have it. I love that picture of me and Shane. It's one of my favorites. But this all was done by clearance items, and I shopped for my home. I found this at Ross. I'm not a big gold person. I'm not a big mirrors person. So I did rough it up white. I didn't want it to look antique because I'm not a fan of the antique look, but I did want to brighten it up because I didn't want it taken away from my brick wall. Like I said, if I ever feel like anything's taken away from the brick, I will get rid of it because I love the plain look back there. But I also wanted to add a little bit to it because it did look very vacant back there. I am thrilled with how it turned out. Of course, it's not perfect. There are still things that I'm looking back at now and I'm like, man, I should have done that differently, or I should have went on and done that. But we did our best and we learned from our past mistakes, and that's what matters, is growth. In our home improvements, in our home life, in our relationships, growth. That's what matters, and that's what I'm really proud of in this video. To look at this video versus the video from a year ago, it doesn't even feel like the same duo. So I'm thankful for Shane. He's always the rock star of the mobile home makeovers. I love you guys. I hope you guys have a blessed morning, evening, night, whatever it is, wherever you're at. Know that I love you, but there's a man, his name is Jesus, and he loves you so much more. I will see y'all in the next one.